Hello guys, this is Sandra here. Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. It's lovely to have you here and I hope you're gonna enjoy your time. So I thought that today we can play around with a few products that are fairly new to me. And when I say new, I took it quite loosely. It's more products that I purchased this year because, you know, we're in August. So it's the past 8 months, but I think it's fairly new. I just want to play with them a bit more because sometimes I'm a bit restricted of like always trying new products or, you know, using a certain eyeshadow palette or my project pen items. So I thought it could be quite fun just to pull a few things that are fairly new and just play with them. So that's what we're gonna do. If I have videos with any of these, I will link them all in the description box so you can find it. I zoomed you in just a little bit, not massively, and we're going to start with the brows, and for that I'm going to use my Revolution Soap Brow. And I used it a few times, but I'm not sure I ever really used it in a video, apart from my initial testing, and I'm going to spritz it with the Revolution Glass Glow Fix. I prefer to use it with a disposable spoolie. Obviously I don't dispose it after every use. I do reuse it, since I only use it on myself. Move it around in there and just brush my brows up, and I like to do it as a first step just so I don't mess up my foundation or anything with it, and it does make my brows quite fluffy, I have to say. I do have to go through it a few times, but it does its job. I'm still learning my way of how to use it, so I just usually brush it through my brows pretty well first. And then once it starts becoming a bit more tacky, sort of, that's when I more push my brows in place. And then while I do my eyeshadow, I will just let it dry. And then after that I can just fill them in. And I find that's the best way for me anyway to use it. For my eyes, I have an eyeshadow primer, which is the NYX HD Studio Eyeshadow Base. So I'm gonna apply just to one eye at a time, and I like to work it into my eye, well, onto my eyelid I guess technically, and then just pat it a little bit, and once it starts becoming a bit more tacky, that's when I will know that it's ready for eyeshadow. The only thing I don't like about this is that it doesn't really like cover any of like discoloration and the veins on my eyelid. Okay, now that it's a bit more tacky, I will have two eyeshadow palettes that I'm gonna use today. One of them is the Beauty Bay Pastels palette, and the other one is the, oops, wrong way around and upside down. The other one is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Norvina palette. Now, not all of these are necessarily new launches, but they are new to me. And first we're gonna go in with the Beauty Bay Pastels palette. Now, since my initial review, but even in that one, I told you that I think the best way for this palette to be used is if you use it as a companion palette for some brights. And I still agree with that. I still feel like by itself it's not the best palette, but if you use it to diffuse bright colors, then it's perfect. So I'm gonna go in with the shade Euphoria. And I'm gonna use it on a blank canvas Cosmetics E42 brush. If you've been here before, you will know that I love this big fluffy brush for blending. And I'm gonna just blend it in and a little bit above my crease and in the outer corner as well, just mapping out the initial shape of my eyeshadow and building it up. There we go, just nice and light. I'm not even sure how much you can see it through the camera, and that's what I wanted. I just wanted a nice light base and nothing too much. And then we're gonna move on to the Norvina palette. I don't know if I want anything else in my crease. Again, it's just a bit of a playtime for me, so we'll see. But first I'm gonna go in with a flat brush and the shade Celestial, which is this beautiful purple. And if I need more shadows in the crease, I can do that later, but for now I'm gonna just pack this more on the outer portion of my eyelid. Then I'm gonna take another flat brush and go in the shade Wild Child, which is this nice pink shade there, and apply that more into the middle and inner portion of my lid. fusing the two colors together as well as I go. I'm just using a mixture of patting and swiping motions as well to make sure that I have pigment everywhere. And then to blend it in my crease as well, I'm going to go back to the brush that we used before, which is from Becca Cosmetics. And just blend, blend, blend. And I might go in with my finger as well, first with the purple and then with the pink, just to bring back a little bit of that glow. And sometimes it is easier to build up with a finger, so I'm going to do that. Oh, such a nice color, and that actually goes really nicely with that pastel-y crease. If you feel like it needs a bit more blending, you can always go back in with the brush. And then for the inner corner, I'm taking my favorite brush, well, one of them, which is the Sigma E47 in the shade Dreamer, which is this nice champagne-y goldy color. And I'm gonna use that for my inner corner because it needs a bit brightening. To add a little bit of dimension to my eye, it's gonna be a really it's gonna be a really light eye look, but to give a bit more dimension, I'm gonna use, I think, the shade Passion and mix it with the shade Volatile, just so it's not too warm toned because the eye itself is not that warm toned either. I'm gonna mix the two on a pencil brush. This is the Zelio 240, and I'm gonna just diffuse that on my top lash line. And then go back with my finger one last time to build up the intensity. And that's basically my eyes done. I will zoom you in later once my other eye is done. So I'm gonna just finish my other eye and I'm gonna fill in my eyebrows a little bit. I don't really have any new eyebrow pencils. I don't think that's from this year. So I'm gonna just fill them in off camera and do the other eye, and then I will be back for the complexion and the lips and everything else that's fun. This is how it looks like from a bit closer up. The lights keep changing, I'm sorry. I do use natural light whenever possible, but obviously it's a bit more temperamental, so sorry about that. But this is how the eyes are done. And one last thing I wanted to do is I'm gonna use the same Sigma brush as I used for the inner corner, and we're gonna mix the shade Dreamer and Base. So the one that we use in the inner corner, and then this skin tone color. And I'm gonna use that on my brow bone. Just a little bit, not too much, because the whole eye look is fairly soft, and I think it's mainly because of that pastel color that we used in the crease. It just softens the whole thing up, which I quite enjoy. And now we can move on to my base. So for primer, we're going to use the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer, which I use quite a bit since I started using this, or well, since I purchased it, I guess that makes more sense. And it's actually really nice for blurring out and having your base sticking to it. And usually I just put it in the inner portion of my face, well, meaning the nose and the inner parts of the cheeks, my chin, and then also my forehead. There we go. And I just feel like it's nice to have videos like this where nothing is new, but they're still fairly new in your collection. Why is it getting dark? Just because, especially in these times, it's quite hard financially, and I'm trying to be good as well and not to order products. And this month, so far, I haven't bought anything. Apart from a bubble bath that was like 80p in Sainsbury's. I really like their bubble baths, they're really good. But, you know, trying to be sensible. Next, I'm using this one, which is the No. 7 Hydroluminous Moisturizing Foundation. This is the shade Calico. Now, the shade match is not the best, but it's okay, I can get away with it. And I bought this in the beginning of the lockdown. And I've been using it since, and it's just a really light coverage but really comfortable foundation. If you like something that just evens your skin tone out without feeling heavy, I think you would really like this. But let me know, have your purchasing habits changed since coronavirus came about, and hopefully most of you are already back to work. There we go. I mean, I'm quite pale, so this is clearly not helping, but we can bronze up later. But you can see I have a spot there that still shows through, but it just evens my skin tone out, takes down the redness that's in here, and gives my skin a nice luminosity already, which I love. And then my concealer has a bit more coverage, which is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. And this is in the shade Fair Beige. So I'm gonna apply a little bit, sort of everywhere. That might have been a bit too much, but never mind. And I'm gonna take the Real Techniques, not sure what brush this is, 200, and I just use this to blend it out. And I like to just blend it out mainly with the brush, and then I will go back in with my finger to pat it out. And I really love this concealer. I feel like it's a bit more of a hydrating version of like the Tarte Shape Tape. And then I take my fingers and just pat it in. You can take your ring finger, I prefer my middle finger. I'm still being gentle, but it just gives me a bit more control. So I'm going to use the Pure 4-in-1 Pressed Mineral Makeup Broad Spectrum SPF 15. That's all it says. Well, it's a powder foundation, but I prefer it more as a powder. I'm just going to take it on like a fluffy brush and lightly set everywhere. And then this way it can also give me a bit more coverage in the areas where I need. Although I'm only using it lightly, I'm not building it up that much. So powder foundations are always good addition to like a lighter coverage foundation. Now that it's done, we're gonna move on to bronzer. And for bronzing, I'm gonna use again the Pure Mineral Glow 0030 bronzer. So I have to be quite light-handed with this, otherwise it can be a little bit touch too dark for me. For this I'm going to use this quite old brush. I love it for bronzer because it's fluffy, so it doesn't pick up too much product. I think it was from like a really old Japanese set, and I love it. It just gives like a really nice warm glow. You can see that compared to the other side, I have a bit of glow still left there, but also this bronzer has a little bit of glow to it, which I really much enjoy. And it has a really nice sweet scent to it as well, which is super nice. Oh no, I do have a blush. Oh shoot, I brought down my bronzer a bit too much. Never mind, we can put a little bit just on the top of the cheeks. And I like to bring down the bronzer on my neck as well, just so it's not like bronzed and then super pale. I always have to remember at the end of the day to, you know, wash it off from my neck as well. Also, if you are like me and you purchased quite a few things when all the lockdown started, or even this year, you know, I purchased quite a few things even in lockdown because, well, when you're bored and, you know, you look around. Let me know what's your favorite purchase of the year so far. I'm not sure I can choose one favorite, although I do really enjoy my Norvina palette, but also my Raw Beauty Crystal palette as well. I'm loving it. And also what lip gloss I'm going to use on my lips. That's another favorite purchase for me over the year. If I have to have like a top 3, I think that's what it would be. The Norvina palette, the Pure eyeshadow palette, and the e.l.f. lip gloss. That's called Lip Lacquer. So let me know what's your favorite purchase of the year. I always find it quite interesting. But that's all the bronzer we're gonna go for. For blusher, I'm not sure I purchased it this year. It's the the Essence Beloved blush, but I don't think I ever used it. I think I just sort of forgot about it, and it's such a nice color and it goes well with what I'm wearing at the moment. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna use it. I just need to be gentle and not to overdo it. But yeah, maybe it was the end of last year purchase. I just don't think I used it, so I wanted to use it today. So that might be the only odd one out. Before we move on to highlighter, I'm gonna just finish my under eyes. So I think I'm gonna go back to my Beauty Bay palette and a smaller brush. So I'm gonna use my Sigma E55 and the shade Euphoria again, so the same pastel purple, and try to blend this out on my lower lash line. And I'm too bright again in the camera. Great. And I'm trying to just more pat it on before blending it so I don't have a lot of fallout, because I don't want that. And then I'm gonna take the Becca Cosmetics brush and lightly blend it. Oh, I might just leave it nice and light today under the eyes, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. So, highlighter wise, I'm gonna reach for the Becca Pure Pearl highlighter, which was limited edition. I mean, I'm sure it's still available. And I bought it at the beginning of this year and I love it. It gives such a nice and natural kind of glow. I'm gonna use it on a Real Techniques. Well, this is a contour brush, but it's quite nice for highlighter. And look at that. Isn't that one of the most gorgeous glow you've ever seen? I mean, it's really natural, but it's just, it looks like glass skin, but it's a powder. I love it. A bit on my Cupid's bow, a little bit there. Are you ready again? Oh, so nice. Maybe if your skin tone is much deeper, it might not work. But on a light to medium skin tone, it's gorgeous and I love it. I got another highlighter here as well though, which is a cream highlight that I quite enjoy patting on top. And this is an unexpected one that I love a lot, but it's a CYO, what is this called? Sweep into Shape. Is that the shade name? Oh no, that's the name of the product. The shade name is Lowdown. And on one end it has a blush, on the other end it has a cream highlighter. And the highlighter is really nice and natural, so sometimes I just take it on my finger and pat it on the highest points to give an even more glow. Does that make sense? I think so. Because I'm patting it on with my finger, even though it's a cream product, it doesn't ruin like anything under it. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Mascara. I'm just looking down because that's where I have everything. I'm gonna use this one, which is the Gosh Boombastic Overdose Mascara. So we're gonna use a few coatings of this. Look at the difference mascara makes. It just always blows me away. Alright, mascara's on. So we have 2 more products for the lips, and I bought these at the same time and it was a bit too bright, but I'm still gonna use the 2 because I'm not sure I have any more lip liners I've bought this year. I can't remember, but we can make it work. So this is the Revolution Satin Kiss Lip Liner in the shade Cutie, and the name is so cute. But online I feel like this looked a bit more muted, but never mind. I'm gonna put a bit, obviously lined it in a bit everywhere, and then I'm gonna take my finger and just blend it out so it becomes a bit more muted. And then this is my other product that I mentioned, is one of my top 3 favorites, and this is the e.l.f. Lip Lacquer, and this one in particular is in the shade Wild Rose. And this, even by itself without a lip liner, it's just such a nice natural product. It's fairly long lasting for a lip gloss, and obviously it's a little bit sticky, otherwise it wouldn't last, but it's not like overly sticky. I don't know how to explain it. It's more on the thicker side, but not massively sticky. I really enjoy this on my lips. It feels hydrating, it's long lasting, it looks beautiful, it's so comfortable to wear, and I almost forgot to set it like I'm going anywhere, but you know, whatever. This is the Revolution Glass Glow Fix, which is what I showed in the very beginning with my eyebrow soap. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go. It's more of a hydrating one, so I feel like it's a similar concept as the Becca one. The packaging is not too far off either, but the scent on it is not nearly as pleasant. Actually, the scent is quite bad. But if you over powdered or you just want something that's a bit more on the hydrating side, it's a good option, but yeah, it's not as pleasant as the Becca one. Let me know in the comment section what you think of this look and how do you like this type of videos. If you like more videos that are like a full face of nothing new, let me know. I feel like these are quite nice to film because as much as I love trying new products, I also obviously want to make sure that I'm using the products that I already have in my collection. And especially in these times, I feel like it's quite nice because, you know, you don't want to put pressure on people like, oh, you need to buy, because I feel like the brands are coming back with more releases, but life is not necessarily resuming, as in like, I know myself that I'm not back to work yet, and while I'm lucky enough of being furloughed, still, you know, it's not the same as it used to be before. So let me know how you like these type of videos, and I'm quite happy to film more of these if you feel like you would like to watch them. But for now I'm gonna go. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and please consider subscribing to my channel. It would mean so much to me. But for now I'm gonna go. If you want to see more videos, I'm here every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and I have the occasional Saturday videos as well thrown in there. But for now I'm gonna go. I hope you have a lovely day and bye bye.